Hey guys, Doug here with Simple Tree. I wanted to go over our new SEO Sprints program that resulted from years of doing SEO and developing this into a more distilled and efficient process that prioritizes the high impact strategies of SEO into a consolidated, accelerated campaign. So these SEO sprints are really designed for any business, but specifically local service companies and solar, roofing, etc. That's where we have the most experience doing this. But we've also done this in many other verticals, including software and B2B. But the process is more or less the same. So really trying to develop 6 months, 12 months of SEO work done to the Google My Business listing and to the website into a distilled, high efficiency type of project. So really the basis is we start out as going over strategies. So we do a very highly optimized, in-depth website quality analysis. We're looking at existing pages, how we can improve those for new keyword rankings, etc. The second stage is really building out a content and link plan ongoing. So this is really what helps us climb the rankings in those high competitive areas and keywords, is developing a consistent link plan to build enough links similar to our competitors. And from there, we can start to rank. And really the fourth component that we work in unison is the Google My Business listing. So this is the primary driver for direct calls to your business, especially when people are searching on their mobile phones. Being visible on the top of Google Maps and the top of Google Search with your map listing, or also known as the Google My Business listing, is extremely powerful, and these work in unison with your website. So as your website starts to rank, it'll lift your Google My Business listing and vice versa. So there's a way of kind of integrating these and pairing these together to rank for your core business's keywords. So the strategy sprint is what we start out on. It's a one-time fee, one-time project, covers 2 months. Really looking at, like we kind of discussed, doing a technical audit, uncovering any potential pages that need to be redirected or cleaned up, any other technical issues as well. And we also go through a very comprehensive content analysis on how we improve existing pages and how we build out new pages to rank for keywords. So the whole idea is to make our website an encyclopedic resource for all things solar or roofing related, etc., all related to our specific service area. So we're doing optimizing the Google My Business listing and the website to communicate both geo and category relevancy. So this is a really critical part of the SEO program, where we're outlining the strategy and implementing the most key on-page fixes that we have listed out here. The GMB sprint, very similar. So we are consolidating just the high impact strategies into one single time campaign to really help us kind of build the foundation and start to move the needle. So again, a lot of times for these kind of low to medium competition cities, just one of these sprints will land you on the first page and start generating leads. For the more competitive, high metropolitan areas, it takes a bit more link building required beyond the initial strategy and GMB sprint to kind of move the needle for those really competitive areas. But most of the time, this is really going to give you a great footing and foundation to start generating your own organic leads all consistently. And so once this is paid off, with a few leads, these are free leads over time. So it's a really powerful lead generation asset that your company can own when you start to rank for said keywords. So this is a quick little glance of a campaign we started for a client in Kansas City. Already we're seeing dividends around the core city area. And the idea is to kind of expand this to wider and wider and eventually target new cities and additional cities and so on and so forth. So the pricing really depends on, for this initial strategy sprint, it covers 2 months. It really depends on which locations you're trying to rank for. So go ahead and reach out and we can give you guys a more accurate quote depending on where your service area is and where you're trying to rank. So beyond, once we kind of hit the initial strategy sprint and the GMB sprint, get our foundation laid, it's really a combination of developing, converting content that'll build both that thematic relevance on our website and content that's going to drive, traffic into conversions. So, we're looking at keyword gap analysis. We're looking at content topic ideation. We're looking at content matrices, how to flesh out different pieces of content that'll help us rank depending on where competitors are. And lastly, we're compiling all this into content briefs. Like you can see this example before to the side here, where we're structuring out how the pages should be written to have both a robust ranking for various keywords of how people are describing this, and obviously conversion. So this is an example of a page we developed that talks about, Virginia solar panels installation. So we're going after this type of keyword. And how do we structure the page to kind of capture what people are searching for. So looking at the cost of solar panels in Virginia, talking about local state incentives, so on and so forth, to really kind of both provide information and value and capture this when people are searching for these types of pricings for solar panels. So really the content sprint varies depending on how many pieces of content you're trying to write out a month, but we can obviously structure this to be to fit your budget and what you're looking for relative to what kind of keywords you're going after. So little typo here, apologize for that. Lastly is the link sprint. So we're going over what kind of links we need to garner to be competitive, especially in the more highly competitive regions. So there's kind of two tiers of links that we're building. The first is kind of the local links for both citations and branded links. But once we kind of have those established, these are the more high authority links that we're looking to gain. And they're expensive, right? So they're around $350 a link. But again, they really help move the needle. And we only need a few for most of these local keywords to get on that first page. So I'm going to jump into some example results here. So we actually, one of our first solar clients, or one of our first solar clients for SEO was RAC Solar. They're a local commercial solar firm. Well, they're nationwide, but they're based here in the same town as we were. And we ended up ranking their website #1 for commercial solar with no location and kind of similar related commercial solar keywords. And later they ended up being bought out by Duke Energy and their website was discontinued. That's why we see the sudden drop off here. But you can see how much traffic we were able to gain them over time since 2017 here. And they were getting so many organic leads that they had to pass these off to smaller partners, and they were able to cherry pick which leads they wanted to really prioritize and go after for the bigger types of deals, simply because they were getting so many leads off their website from organic search. So really cool to see how this can work for both B2B businesses and residential. Again, here's a glance at kind of the local visibility heat map tracking we use to monitor the progress we're making on ranking Google My Business listings. So again, these are a really powerful asset. Once you're ranked, this is going to be the primary driver for direct calls to your business when people are searching on Google Maps and Google Search and your Google My Business listing shows up. Also, we can add these to Google Ads and create an location extension for that top of page visibility while we wait for these to rank, but we can go over to that strategy later. This is a look at some of the lead flow from a client in Arizona, where they generated quite a bit of leads over the years just from Google Maps and organic search. Again, these are higher quality leads. People are already searching for solar, so it's really easy to you generally have a higher close rate because they're already aware of the benefits of solar, and now they're searching for competing quotes and bids. This is a 4-month-old site that we just started on. You can see when we really started to begin here toward the end of the beginning of January 2022, and really start to see some exponential growth here in just organic traffic. So this was a little bit of an old screenshot, but just goes to show how powerful these strategies can be and how quickly they can take effect. Here's another glance at some of the local keywords we're getting some rankings for, helping them rank their GMB and their website for these various local searches. Another recent look at the lead flow that we had from last month. So this company, we started the SEO program relatively recently, and we can't even do any local link building right now because they plan to rebrand and change their office address. We really don't want to have to go back and correct all the citations we build. So this is mostly from content and a few links built where they're already getting a 30% increase from leads from organic leads from last month. You can see primarily most are coming from Google search. The next would be Google Maps, followed by a few in Bing and one on DuckDuckGo. So these are all form submits. You can see I filtered for this goal here for HubSpot solar form submits. So really, these are all really free leads. So we can expect to climb to increase this lead flow even more from organic once we actually start to reach that 3-pack for the Google My Business, which they aren't even on yet. This is mostly all just kind of bottom of page 1 rankings for these types of solar company, solar panel, local keywords. This is a little side project of our own that we've been chipping away at. So we built this site as a kind of a lead flow or a pay per lead type of agreement, or more of a revenue share agreement with a commercial solar client. And we haven't had too much time, but you can see already that we're ranked number 1 and 2 for commercial solar plus the state. You can see some of the quality of leads that have come through here. One from Seagate, Sika. This turned into a proposal, as of this one from Duoform Plastics. Some of these bigger companies like Amcor, and a few other smaller ones in here. But you can see, although the lead flow is much smaller from organic, and we're really only ranking for a few keywords for the statewide term, this provides massive dividends, especially on the commercial side, where it only takes literally one closed deal to pay for an entire year's worth, or few years really, of SEO. So this is pretty cool to see how much easier it can be to rank for commercial solar keywords. Because the competition is so much less. So really, to kind of summarize, we have a lot of these workflows automated, a lot of these systems ready to go. We can just plug and play and get you going for your own optimization. We know exactly what to do, especially for these solar websites. And really, the goal is building these long-term lead assets, right? So if we do this for both residential and commercial, these will be evergreen lead producing assets, because once you're ranked, it's relatively stable. There may be some minor upkeep required in terms of content and links for the really high comp areas, but once we have that established baseline of content and links, these rankings are relatively very stable. So lastly, just guys, if this interests you, please request an organic leads projection report. We can put together some different growth model forecasts depending on your keywords and your competitors' keywords, and we can look at what kind of revenue and ROI you can expect from an SEO campaign. So happy to get this to you guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you.